What rule was made because of you? So in 4th grade we had this thing called Wax Museum where you dressed up as a historical figure and gave presentation. So my friend was Harry Houdini and so he had handcuffs. So as 10-year-olds we were messing with them and my friend put them on me. These were not the cheap plastic ones at the dollar store, they were prop ones made from real metal. So they get stuck and long story short I was in the office with 3 people around me trying to get the handcuffs open with pens and a pumpkin knife. My sister said when she had to do it there was no handcuffs allowed. Thanks Nathan for trapping me. The library started putting up signs about authorized computer activities because I remotely rebooted the computers of noisy kids over and over. To be fair, it was a library. Students are forbidden to jump out through the windows. No selling Coca-Cola in the hallway. In elementary school, 2nd grade I think, I had to pee really bad, but I was in musical butt and my teacher was singing us a song and playing guitar. So I went up to her anyways and asked to pee and she got upset, and since then she would remind us all that we can't go up to her while she's singing to ask to pee. I just didn't want to pee my pants, woman. In high school my group of friends and me started bringing a grill to school to make toasted ham cheese sandwiches in the lunch breaks. Soon after, more and more kids brought their grills to school. After about a week, the school banned grills on school property completely as they claimed it was a fire hazard. Coffee was banned in the training room at Earthlink after I spilled a whole cup into a CRT monitor. Pokemon was banned in our Catholic elementary school because the principal thought my friend and I were praising it instead of Jesus. It was quite a ride. The lacrosse team I played for in college isn't allowed to drink on team trips anymore. Tarantulas are not permitted on school property. At a previous place of work, you cannot lock the wheels on the rolling carts. I had a micromanager that did not know how to do ducking, anything my job entailed, but wouldn't let that stop him from telling me bulls like we need to 83 of a specific unit through to stress testing by the end of today or else there will be repercussions. Except we can't because a certain micromanager failed to order the ducking parts we needed to do that. Anyway, one day I was feeling like S and did not want to deal with him, so I got every unit I'd need for that day, made some walls around me and locked the wheels on them so no one could get to me. Then for good measure I put on some music and cranked it up loud. It was hard to keep the smirk off my face when micromanager started poking his head into the open slots of units I'd already worked on trying to get my attention. My floor manager just sent me emails that day for whatever she needed, and all of that got done of course. Edit. Forgot to mention, I have no idea why the music was apparently fine but locking wheels was the issue. Birds are not considered a pattern on polos for school dress code. I had a shirt with toucans on it and the dean called me out in front of the whole school. Board operators at the radio station have to show up 30 minutes early because I slept through a fill-in shift to run the morning news show. No obscene or disturbing costumes. For Halloween last year in school, I applied makeup following some YT tutorial I saw to make myself look like Two-Face from that Batman movie. Looked like my face was ripped off. Men are allowed to wear business casual shorts in the office. Dress code didn't allow men to wear shorts, but did allow skirts. Showed up in a kilt until the rules changed. My cabin at a summer camp got glow sticks banned because we cut them open and sprayed the glowy S all over the place. There was supposed to be a cap on vacation time at one of my previous employers. I don't know why no one ever picked this up. It was a startup. Still, people had left before I did, but the vacation kept accruing. When I left, instead of 2 weeks in the bank there were 5 weeks in there and they had to pay me. I'm sure they could have jumped through hoops, but there wasn't anything in the handbook that had a cap in writing, although we were told it was 2 weeks. So they just paid me. The fact I didn't leave on bad terms helped a lot, I'm sure. When I got the check, it was for 9 weeks, not 5. Why 9, you ask? We also had a policy that after 5 years you could take a month-long sabbatical. This was considered earned time, and if you didn't take it and left the company, it was payable as unused PTO. After I left, they made damn sure no one had more than 2 weeks of PTO banked, put out a new handbook, and they ended the sabbatical for new employees going forward. People grandfathered and got to keep it. My mum is the reason they chained down the nativity scene at our local casino. Last year she tried to make off with the baby Jesus. No black lipstick in my high school dress code. then further amended to no unnatural lip colors. The Christmas tree will be anchored to the wall. My elementary school banned plastic knives from the cafeteria because my friends and I would steal a bunch and pretend to be in the Hunger Games and fake stab each other at lunch. If you can solve a Rubik's Cube, you're not allowed to have one in Kilbutt. My high school used to have a drug project where we'd have to give a presentation on a certain drug. There was a little thing on how it's made, like in a lab or it's a plant or whatever. I misunderstood how in-depth that part was supposed to be. Long story short, I spent 15 minutes teaching the entire freshman boys health Kilbutt how to make black tar heroin, complete with a PowerPoint presentation. They don't have that part of the project anymore. You can no longer write whatever you want for the creative component in the English exam. So, in high school we had to read the most boring book ever, The Secret River. I didn't read it. So, for our SACS, statewide school Batis coursework, in Australia it basically defines your life. There is a creative exam where we have a visual prompt, and we were told you can write whatever you want. What they meant was you could write a news article, or a new perspective of one of the characters or a book review. So, I thought, screw it, I'm writing Secret River, the musical. 2 pages, 10 verses. None of the teachers knew what to do with it. Some thought I deserved an A because I was a mad genius. Some thought I was clearly trying to hide the fact I didn't read the book. It has to be examined and cross-examined twice. But because I have to give everyone back their results at the same time, no one got their results back for a month. Everyone was pissed. When we got it back I was told I was never to do that again. My roommate in college documented everything I did in a blog, which included pictures of my stuff. I tried immature ways of getting her to stop. I followed her blog. BC I didn't know how to do proper conflict resolution. I had already asked if something was up and she said no, which turned out to be a lie. As I then found the blog, she made a new blog about me, and when I found that, I asked her to stop. She wouldn't. A friend told Nra. Nothing happened to her, but the next year, there were new cyberbullying rules in place. For those curious, her main complaints were how quickly I got out of bed, how I would nap before my work shifts, and how I wouldn't take out her recycling. Only 2 servings of fried okra allowed at my college cafeteria. I went to college in the south. I had never tasted fried okra before. I went crazy and ate plateful after plateful. No throwing plaster blocks off the 4th floor. Maid outfits, on Halloween, are not allowed at my current McDonald's. My high school's marching band is no longer allowed to stack bunk beds at the dorms we stayed at for band camp, bring video game consoles to band camp, visit the girls' dorm at band camp period, sit next to the opposite gender on the band bus trips. All the bags need to be thoroughly searched for all band trips. Note, this was not my sole doing, but the combined efforts of basically my entire senior Kilbutt and the band. No climbing trees. I climbed to the top of a tree. It was pretty big, and then I made a branch fall that almost landed on top of a teacher's head. Needless to say, climbing trees are now banned at my school. At the old office we had a sign that says when doing technical repairs above the ground, do not throw components at people below. The school I graduated from now has a rule that their history teachers can't study serial killers anymore, even as a side or bonus project. My older sister had a project of a serial killer but couldn't pick one, because like a normal human being she only knew of like 2 or 3 and didn't want to go with one that everyone was going to use. I, however, am not normal, and at the time I was big into killers. Well, my Facebook wasn't private and that was the only way I had to send her links. And no, the thought of using Messenger hadn't crossed my mind. Well, at some point someone's helicopter parent was snooping around students' pages and came across mine. They tried having me suspended out of fear that I was planning something. This was 2013, so about a year after Sandy Hook, when my counselor told my dad he informed her that I was helping with a school project. Then next week my entire sister Kilbutt got seized and the project was cancelled. I'd like to mention that they pulled all those serial killer bars from the library as well. No playing darts by throwing scissors at the cork wall in the Kilbutt room. The place I work used to have unlimited coffee for their employees. 3 weeks after I started working, there was a sign above the coffee maker that stated that employees were limited to 3 cups a day. No throwing grubut when you're on school grounds. This was in junior high. School grubut was just cut and drying up, so in just a few seconds you easily could get a big handful of grubut. Friend and I were throwing it at each other. I started it, and a couple other people did after seeing us. They had an announcement each morning for the next couple days to not throw grubut. There is a required pin to change profile pictures on the Klbut Room iPads now. This is because I decided to change every staff member's profile picture in the school iPads to a smiling old Mexican man on the 1st of April. Students are prohibited from organizing, advertising, playing, observing, or otherwise engaging in any form of rummy, blackjack, Texas Hold'em, 5-7 card stud draw, Pai-Gow, or poker during lunch period. Poker chips and cards are prohibited from school grounds except when required for specific, pre-approved activities or projects. Violation of this policy is subject to expulsion and referral to law enforcement for illegal gambling. This was middle school. Decades ago, our first and last annual school district, Texas Hold'em tournament, presented by Junior's Bait Shop, was a resounding success. No aluminum bats on campus. Spanish Klbut piñata party gone very wrong. Still have the scar. My senior year in HS, I had an English teacher who allowed all work to be turned in up to the last week of Klbut. I turned in pretty much every batimment right about then, apart from the end of unit projects. Next semester, all the work for all units was due at the end of the unit. I was going to my first guitar lesson at school, so I asked someone where the band room was and he pointed in its general direction. I tried to open the door that led to the room he pointed at, but it was kind of hard to open. So I pushed harder, and a giant bookcase came crashing down onto the floor. I don't have any idea why they put a huge bookcase in front of a push door, but now there's a permanent sign on the door that says, "Do not open this door, ever. TLDR. I accidentally pushed down a huge bookshelf and now there's a super angry sign on the door.